If you want to get in on the brand new tennis racket giveaway of your choice or the same cash value up to $100 or the fantasy team competitions, stay tuned. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first sequel to our initial fantasy team and tennis racket giveaway video. This video is only meant to let everyone know what Carla's fantasy team and tennis racket giveaway selections are and what my tennis racket giveaway and selections are. Mind you, we will obviously not win our own tennis racket or prizes. We just like to compete along with you guys. If you don't know the rules of these competitions, on this playlist, this is the second video. There's one, and that's prior to this, that will go over all the rules and what you need to do to qualify to be involved in the tennis racket giveaway and for this tournament, because it's so incredibly difficult to pick winners on any season. It's incredibly difficult to pick winners in a season in which there has been COVID-19 that has made everything a lot harder to discern. So I'm giving away a brand new tennis racket of your choice if you win. If you don't play the game and you want the cash value of a tennis racket, I will give you up to $100 US of that tennis racket value, okay? So if you don't know the rules, check out the first video on this playlist. This is video 2. So all we're going to do today, right now on this video, is Carla is going to read you her fantasy team. I will read you my fantasy team and who we predicted to make the men's final, women's final, and the winners. Okay? So Carla, I'm going to hand her sheet to her, and Carla, read off your 1-point players and your 2-point players and your 3-point player, which is a wild card or a qualifier. And let's go now. Let's go. Carla, start with your men's team.
All right, I got Djokovic.
1-point player.
1 point. Nadal.
1 point.
Tsitsipas.
1 point.
Thiem.
1 point.
Struff.
Struve, 2.
Anderson.
2.
Fusovic. Ironman.
2.
Sangren.
2.
And Popapirin.
Papirin. He's a 3-point player. Papirin is a wild card, right?
Yes, he's a wild card.
So, again, I don't want to spend too much time. I want this video to be brief because we went over all the rules on the first video. You can only select a maximum of 4 players on the men's side and the women's side that are seeded, not ranked in the world, but seeded in the top 20. Now, you can only have as many unseeded players as you want, but you can only have a maximum of 4 seeded players seeded within the top 20. Now, Carla elected to pick 4 players seated inside the top 20. So all those players will be worth 1 point each. She then selected 4 more players that were seated outside of the top 20 that are worth 2 points each per match win. And then her wild card was Papirin. He's a Canadian player, if I remember correctly. I forget. Anyway, she chose Papirin to be her 1 player that was worth 3 points per match win. So remember, you can have as many unseeded players as you want. You can have 8 unseeded players or 8 players seated outside of the top 20, but you can only have up to a maximum of 4 seated within the top 20. All right, women's team, who you got?
Osaka.
1.
Kvitova.
1.
Azarenka.
1.
Swiatek.
1.
Rogers.
Okay, 2.
Collins.
2.
Brady.
2.
Risk.
2.
And Yuvan.
Okay, Juvan. Okay, so Carla has chosen to select her maximum of 4 players on the men's side and on the women's side that she was allotted for her seeded players within the top 20 that are worth 1 point each. So just a reminder, if your player is seeded within the top 20, every time they win a match, it's only worth 1 point. If the player is seeded between 21 and all the way through, it doesn't matter, 21 plus, they are worth 2 points per match win. The last player, the 9th player, must be a wild card or a qualifier, and they are worth 3 points for every match that they win. Okay, and your finalists for the tennis racket giveaway competition. Now, to win the tennis racket. Now, usually it's one of our used tennis rackets that we've strung and we've play tested with some White-Tech stuff, and we demoed the frame, and then we give it to you guys. Hence Matt Kane, he won one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this tournament, because of COVID-19 and there's not a lot of variables to follow consistently because of everything's been interrupted, we have elected to buy you whatever tennis rackets you want of your choice. In order to do so, you must predict the men's finalists and hit them perfectly, the women's finalists, hit them perfectly, and both winners. Okay? Usually it's a lot easier, and we give a racket away that's ours, but again, because of this, we're thinking it's going to be so difficult, we'll buy you a new one, or the cash value up to $100 thereof. I get some of these rackets are $300, and yes, we'll get you that racket and network and so forth. But if you want the cash value up to $100 US coming to you. Who are your predictions, Carla?
Tsitsipas beating Djokovic and Osaka beating Azarenka.
All right, Osaka meeting Azarenka, Osaka winning. Tsitsipas meeting Djokovic with Tsitsipas winning is her selections. If she were you and you selected that and you hit that verbatim, then you would win the tennis racket of your choice or the cash value thereof. If there was someone that tied you, so someone else that picked the same selections, then we will go to the fantasy teams to break the tie. So even if you don't feel like looking up a men's and women's fantasy team, pencil whip something, put it in comments on the first video so everyone can see, and the tie will be broken. But don't put in selections for the tennis racket and not do a fantasy team, because if you tie, if someone even puts one player in a fantasy team and you don't, you lose. Okay? All right, my picks, are you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right. My fantasy picks are these. I did not select all 4 of my max seeded players. I only chose 3 on the men's side. Here's my team. 1-point plays. Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Dominic Thiem are all worth only 1 point per match win. Now I have 5 people in the 2-point category. Borna Coric, let's go. Racquet, the Polish player, let's go. Dima Nor, let's go. Bublik, let's go. Kyrgios, don't break a racket, let's go.
Kyrgios.
So Borna Coric, Racquet, Dima Nor, Bublik, and Kyrgios are all 2-point players for me. So I have an extra 2-point player than Carla does.
Unfortunately, Dimanor and Kyrgios could go out.
We'll see. We're battling off with Dimanor in the first round.
Yeah.
Carlos Alcaraz is my qualifying player, the young man that's training at Nadal's place in Mallorca. Carlos Alcaraz is my 3-point player. Hopefully he does well and wins me at least a round, get those 3 points. Okay? Mm-hmm. Women's side, here we go. Once again, I did not choose all 4 of my max players seated in the top 20. I only chose 3. Naomi Osaka, 1-point player. Serena Williams and Victoria Azarenka, my only 1-point players. My 2-point players, Brady, Kontaveit, Alexandrova, Ons Jabeur, and Anastasia Potapova. Now, my 3-point player, I'm letting this one out of the bag right now. My 3-point player is none other than, meaning she gets 3 points per match win, and yes, she is an Australian with a Russian last name. My 3-point player on the women's side is this, Arena Radionova. Let's go, Radionova. Let's go. So with that, you have my fantasy teams, Nadal, Djokovic, Thiem, Coric, Racquet, Dimanor, Bublik, Kyrgios, and Alcaraz. On the women's side, Osaka, Serena, Azarenka, 1-point plays. 2-point plays, Brady, Kontaveit, Alexandrova, Jabeur, Anastasia Potapova. And for my 3-point play, Arena Rodionova. And for the tennis racket giveaway selection, on my side, Novak Djokovic, can you believe it, is facing Rafael Nadal. With Novak Djokovic winning, let's go. And the same thing as you on the women's side, Naomi Osaka facing Vika Azarenka with Osaka winning. I wish everybody the best of luck. Please remember that if you are partaking in the YTech strings giveaways. If you're a player and you want sets of strings and you win the fantasy team competition, the top 2 finishers will win 2 sets of strings, whichever you wish. Australian Open shirt from the Australian Open last year. YTech shirts and gears, 5K tennis shirts, cash, the equivalent value, whatever you wish, is fantasy teams, and the tennis racket or the cash value up to $100 US is up to you. The only qualification is you must subscribe. All right, make sure you put your team predictions and your tennis racket predictions on videos that are in this playlist. If your picks are in the playlist of our normal talk shows, we won't recognize them because we have learned over the past 3 years that it's best for those that are playing to be able to see everyone else's teams, to see everyone else's predictions, so everyone can make sure everything is copacetic, right? Mm-hmm. All right. We will do these updates as the rounds progress. So we will update this playlist as soon as round 1 is completed, and we will start weeding people out from there. Good luck to everyone. There's a lot of prizes on the table. And hey, even though we don't win our own prizes, we're here to compete. Let's go. You ready, Carla? Mm-hmm. Let's get down. You got our teams. What are yours? Put them on this video or the one prior to this, not on our normal discussion videos, because we won't actually recognize them, okay?
All right.
All right, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you after round 1 for these videos, and we will definitely be seeing you during match play throughout the Australian Open.
Right.
All right?
All right.
Adios, guys. See ya. Good luck. Make sure to subscribe and make sure to put your picks in the comment sections on any of these playlist videos. Best of luck. We'll see you soon.